did you know who he was going to pick?
We told him to. We've been telling him all day. From the moment he left his hotel room, we've been priming him, programming his subconscious. He's been seeing the number 55 all day long. On the elevator, in the lobby, even the stick pin on the doormat. Not only that, we loaded his route from the hotel to the stadium. He looks out the window, primers are everywhere. Now he doesn't see it, but he does. There's no getting around it. He even sees far out. Suggestions are everywhere, from the number of flowers in a vase.
That is genius.
And it's not only what he sees, it's what he hears. The Mandarin word for 5 is wu. There are 124 woo-woos in sympathy for the devil. Now he's not registering it, but it's all there. So when he picks up those binoculars, looks out on the field, sees a familiar face with the number 55 on his jersey, some voice in the back of his mind says, that's it. And he thinks it's intuition, and he picks.
The longer a person watches television, the more easily the brain slips into alpha level, a slow, steady brainwave pattern in which the mind is in its most receptive mode. Images and suggestions are implanted directly into the mind without viewer participation. An effective hypnosis is induced, and the viewer surrenders to the unending television image stream.
The television. And once television was in our homes, it would change the way we entertain ourselves, and it would change the way we think.
Every country and every culture, storytelling has significant power. The stories that we are told via books, our screens, and advertising build identities, determine behaviors, and forge our dreams. American researchers found that stories repeated in our minds actually interact with our biology. Our brains need shortcuts to simplify and organize information and data constantly coming at us. They impact how we view the world and make meaning from what we perceive. The narrative we tell and are told has the potential to create and continue disbeliefs by those few who dominate the sphere.
Each advertisement you ingest slowly but surely alters your perspective. You can't see it happening, and you'll hardly ever notice the difference, but your mind is being made up for you. His data revealed that certain ads were ineffective at first, but had a significant impact over time. In other words, your opinion might be exactly the same after your first viewing, and even your second, and your third. But as more time goes by, that message will have a larger and larger effect on you. It worms its way into your brain, changing the way you think, behave, and live your life. But how does it work? In his repetition. These ads get played repetition. These ads get played all the time. You may not remember them, but you've been watching these sleeper ads every day for weeks or months at a time. Whether you like it or not, the media influences your opinions. It changes your preferences. It even controls your lifestyle. Now, it may not always be obvious or direct, but it's still happening. You just take those
as executive abilities. I like to summarize it by having a role that you'd expect from a chief executive officer of a corporation, making strategic decisions, monitoring the performance of those activities, making corrections en route, and so on. It's also the source of social behavior. It turns out that humans are particularly visual animals. A lot of the information humans are particularly visual animals. A lot of the information that is required for relating to the environment is visual. And so a lot of the posterior part of the neocortex is devoted to complex visual processing beyond the primary visual cortex. so that I think of it as a gradual reconstruction. What you see is not necessarily a carbon copy of reality. What you see is a gradual coding and reconstruction of the signal in neurologic terms. And in that process, a lot of interpretation goes on.
So Dr. Mendez says the frontal lobe is like our command center. It's like where we make all these executed decision-making processes. That our perception of reality is based upon what we basically take in through our visual cortex. Now, question, could you change someone's reality based on what you give them visually to watch?
You go to the store to buy some chips or a soda, think about why you're choosing that specific product. Do you just like the taste? Did you see an ad that sold you a feeling or a lifestyle? Or has the media unconsciously changed your opinion? Has your constant exposure to certain brands, companies, and influencers transformed the way you think? It's tempting to say no. No one likes to think their views may not be their own. That's the power of the sleeper effect. You'll keep thinking they're your choices, your opinions, and your habits, but the media has been worming its way into your mind for your whole life, and it isn't going to stop anytime soon.